What up, what up? This is Finance, Fitness, and Folk. Channel we discuss finance, a little bit of fitness, talk about some folk. So in today's episode, I'm going to discuss why you should go to work or go to jail. So admin notes, thanks again to all the subscribe to the channel. I endeavor to keep pushing the video out, give you leverage, better yourselves. If you're new to the channel, thank you for watching the channel. Thank you for clicking on the video. Hope you get some out of it, because I'm going to say something here that I think some young men and some men in general need to hear. So let's get into it. So why do I say that you should go to work or go to jail, right? So I'm not talking about like how the military is, where they got their cadence, like, you know, got a letter in the mail, go to work, go to war, go to jail. Not talking about that, right? I'm talking about folks, men. I mean, women can do this too, right? But I'm talking really to men on this video. I'm talking about men. They go to work, they clock in, or they badge in. You know, however your job works when it comes to like they tracking exactly when you get to work, and then you, I don't know, for lack of better words, just leave your office or leave the building, and you take extended lunch, you take extended breaks. You may be in a situation where you clock in and then you just might even don't come to work, or you leave like extremely early, like you clock in and then 3 hours later you're gone, right? And you're supposed to do 8 hours, but you only did 3. But you wrote in on your timesheet that you did 8 hours, right? So I'm telling you right now, that is a bad look for you. And depending on how your company is set up, you can literally go to jail for that, because that's stealing hours from your job, right? So, you know, I've seen this a couple times in the past, where I've seen folks do these type of things. And real case scenario, I had a homeboy that did this. He was at my job, you know what I'm saying, and would leave early almost every single day to a certain degree. But he would go online when he got home, because we had like a modified telework type situation where, like, you know, depending on if you had authorization in advance, you could, you know, be on your laptop at home and you could telework, right? But he never got permission on a lot of these days. He would just leave early. He would just go to telework, right? So long story short, you know, they had a meeting with him, asked him what was going on. And, you know, he told him what was up and everything. He said, hey, I went home and I did telework. And because he didn't follow the company's policy when it came to that, they fired him, right? Now, because he was a hard worker, and because, you know, he did a lot of things for the company that benefited the company, you know, they kind of gave him somewhat of a break. I mean, they fired him, obviously, but they didn't pursue anything legally, you know, against him. But I promise you, if they really wanted to do that, they could have really screwed this guy over. You know what I'm saying? He was really blessed to get off the way he did. Because when you do things like that, you know, and like I said, depending on how your job is set up, depending on like you like a job where you're on salary, where you have a job where it's contracting, you have to do those hours. You have to prove you did those hours, because if they do an audit and they see that you didn't do the hour that you're supposed to have done based off of your work, based off of what time you're supposed to be at work, what time you're supposed to get off of work, whether you got authorization to leave work, whatever the case may be, those hours are tracked. And if you don't abide by the rules and the regulations to that job, you will get fired eventually, and they can come after you and actually make you compensate what they lost. Meaning that the hours that you didn't work, they could literally make you pay that. They can sue you for that. You know what I'm saying? And also, like I said, depending on what kind of job you have, there's some legal ramifications that can happen where you can actually get actually be charged and get a record for it. Possibly go to jail, right? It's not a game, y'all. It really isn't a game. And believe me, don't think that you can have a telework job. You know, thank God for telework, right? But don't think you can have a telework job and you can just goof off and do what you want to do, right? There are companies out there that have software where they can track your keystrokes on your laptop or your desktop, whatever you have at home that you use for work. They can literally track how many times you tap on your keyboard. If you have to VPN, look that word up, it's an IT word. If you have to VPN into your desktop at work from your laptop at home, they can that's logged, right, in software, meaning that they can go onto a system and check what time you actually VPN'd into that desktop, how long you was there. If your laptop went to sleep because you didn't work on it for a certain time frame, it went idle and went to sleep. Like, I mean, you know, depending on what kind of job you have, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a game. It really isn't. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's it proves you don't have good work ethic, right? And let's be clear: if you get fired from a job, you know what I'm saying, and you try to get another, you immediately try to get another job, or like, you know, let's say you take off for a little while, you try to get another job. A lot of times, that new job is going to ask for a reference from the old job, or they're going to try to contact the old job. And if they do that, guess what they're going to do? They're going to say that, well, they're going to, how should I say this? So there's some privacy issues when it comes to that. But if there's a record that shows you were fired based off of that, then, you know, what is that going to say to your new employer when you come and work for them? Basically, they're going to be like, hey, I don't really want to take a risk that you're going to do the same thing to us. So they're not going to hire you, right? And I think for young people, I mean, this can be, you know, pushed over to, you know, folks my age, even folks older than me, you know what I'm saying? But I think for young folks, they really don't understand the importance of having a good work ethic and actually doing the work and actually being on a job and actually be on the job the hours you're supposed to be there. You need to make sure that you look at the policy for your job and understand exactly how long you're supposed to be there, what you're supposed to do when you're there, how long your breaks are, how long your lunch is. If you leave the building, does that count to work based off of mission, based off of your whatever you have going on for that day? You know what I'm saying? Can you count lunch as work time, right? You need to know all these things, because you don't want to be put in a situation where they're questioning, did you do your hours when you was at work? Because it's not gonna be good for you. You know what I'm saying? And you know, this is one of those situations where I know a lot of young folks and a lot of folks in general will be like, well, this is the reason why I want to work for myself and have an LLC, or just have like a personal contracting job to begin with. Well, that's fine and dandy, right? But if you're going to, you know, for lack of a better word, steal hours from a job you're going to do from 9 to 5, then what are you going to do when you actually have your own business and you have to work more than 8 hours to make sure the business keeps running, right? I know folks may come up here and say that, well, it's my personal business, so I'm gonna be more invested in my own personal business. Well, you know, but at the end of the day, your practices you have on an actual 9 to 5 job will translate over to what you do on a personal level. Because when you have your own business, you have to have a lot of discipline. You have to have a lot of good work ethic, and it's going to be a lot of days you don't want to go to work, right? But you have to work in order to get money. You have to work in order to take care of yourself and your family. So if you're doing these things on an actual 9 to 5 job where you're working for somebody, I promise you, that work ethic is going to transfer over to when you actually work for yourself. I promise you it will. You know what I'm saying? You can't just turn that light switch off and on, guys. You know what I'm saying? You just can't. You have to build character on your job that you do for 9 to 5. So when you actually get your own business, then you actually understand the importance of actually being at work, working hard to be able to sustain yourself and to be able to push out the best product you can, whether it be working for yourself or working for somebody else, right? So this is just something that I really thought about recently, and I just wanted to put it out there that, you know, if you decide you want to go ahead and get a job, and you want to, you know, for whatever reason, steal hours based off of you know, you actually clocking in, but you're not actually staying at the job as long as what you need to, they understand there's going to be some serious consequences that may come your way if you do that. So please go to work, don't go to jail, don't get fired, because we don't want that. You know, so we want folks to build wealth. We don't want you in a situation to where you're losing wealth because of something that you did. It could have been very preventable. So If you want me to discuss the topic you think is beneficial to the channel, email me at finitefitnessfolk@gmail.com. My email address is in the description below. Finite Fitness and Folk, Triple F, I'm gone.